In this video, you're going to learn how to solve systems of linear equations, for two equations. So there are too many ways how we solve these equations, like system equations. We have elimination, we have graphing, and we can solve it by substitution. So what we're trying to find is we're trying to find a solution of a system of two linear equations with two variables, which is an ordered pair that makes both equations true. So we need to find the values of x and y that will make both equations true. So let's start with the first method here. It's called elimination method. So we're going to eliminate one of the variables, x or y, in order to find only one variable, and then if we have one variable, right? If we found one variable, we can just find another one. So let's try to eliminate either x or y. Well, clearly, if I see this one, see this is we have like two equations here, and let's call this one is equation 1, and this one is equation 2. Well, if you add both equations 1 and 2, clearly you can eliminate negative x with x, right? And y plus y, that will be 2y, and 1 plus 3, that will be 4. And then we can eliminate, we can divide it by 2 on both sides, and we're gonna get y equals 2, right? So we found y equals 2 as one of the solution. Now we need to find x. Well, we can choose any equation, either equation 1 or 2. Let's choose equation 2. So we already have x plus y equals 3. So we're going to substitute y by 2. So we have x plus 2 equals 3. Now I need to solve for x. So let's subtract 2 on both sides. And I will have x equals 1. So as you can see, the solution of this system of two linear equations with two variables x, y would be an ordered pair 1 and 2, right? 1 and 2. And you want to check your solution here. Well, we can check. You can check whether your answer is correct or not. So we can substitute x by 1. That will be negative 1 plus 2. And we got 1 here. That's correct. And the second equation, we have 1 plus 2. We get 3. And this is correct. Now we have another way how to solve a system of these linear equations is by using substitution. Well, in the substitution method, the first step is to solve one of the equations for one of the variables, and then we're going to substitute into the other equation. So we're going to solve for x or y, right? And then we're going to substitute either x or the value of x or y into the other equation. So let's start with this one. Let's try to solve for y here. So let's try, I want to choose this one. Let's call this one equation 1 and equation 2. So let's work on the equation 1, and I want to solve for x. I want to solve for y. So I get y equals, and remember, I can move negative x to the right. That will be x plus 1, right? And we can substitute so we have y equals x, we have y equals x plus 1. So we can substitute y by x plus 1. So right, so we're gonna have x. So this is equation number 2 here. So we're gonna have x plus, and we know that y equals x plus 1. So we're gonna substitute y by x plus 1, right? By x plus 1, and that would be equal 3. Now we're just gonna have only one variable to solve for, right? So we can remove the parentheses, and we're gonna have 2x. So we're gonna have we're gonna have x plus 1 equals 3. Now we're gonna have 2x plus 1 equals 3, and we're gonna subtract 1 on both sides here. So we're gonna have 2x equals 2, and then we divide it by 2 on both sides. So we're gonna have, and also we're going to simplify here. So we're going to get x equals 1, right? So we found x equals 1. And we know that y, and I got this one from equation number 1. So from equation number 1, we know that y equals x plus 1. So I can substitute x by 1, right? And we're going to have, so we're going to have 1 here. So 1 plus 1, and that will be 2, right? So the ordered pair of the solution to this system of linear equations, that will be x equals 1, right? That would be x equals 1 and y equals 2, which is exactly the same as we got by using elimination method. All right, so now we're going to solve the same system linear equation by graphing. So let's try to graph both equation and the intersection of both lines. So when we graph this linear, those linear system equations, so we're going to have like two lines, they're going to intersect with each other. If there is a solution, well, there is a solution which is 1 and 2. That's what we found in the previous examples. So now we just try to practice how we solve the system of this linear equations by graphing. So we're going to graph both lines, and when they intersect, they must intersect at certain point if there is a solution. And we know that we solve in the previous examples by elimination and substitution that we found like x equals 1 and y equals 2. So let's try to verify this by graphing here. So let's try to graph the first equation. Let's try to graph this one right here, the first equation, right? And let me call this one equation number 2. Give me 1 second here. Let's call this like 1, 2. All right, so let's try to graph this one here. So I got like so equation number 1, I got negative x plus y equals 1. And to solve and to graph this equation, I can use 2 points. So I need to find 2 points. I will connect them, then I can just graph this equation. And one of the best method actually to find the 2 points here, we can just find x-intercept and y-intercept. That's gonna be like easy way. The reason why it's easy to find x and y-intercept, because we can substitute x by 0 and also we can substitute y by 0, and it's kind of very easy for us to find the other value. So let's start with the y-intercept here. Let's start with the y-intercept. Right? So the y-intercept, always we have x equals 0, right? Always we have x equals 0. So we're gonna substitute x. So we're gonna have the equation here. So we're gonna substitute x by 0, right? So we're gonna substitute x by 0 right here. So we're gonna come up with, so this is gonna be gone, and we're gonna come up with y equals 1, right? So the first point when x equals 0, y would be 1. So I got my first point here, right? So let's try to find the second point by finding like the x-intercept. So let's find x-intercept here. And x-intercept always when we have y equals 0. So we're gonna substitute y by 0. And I can choose any equation I want. Let's start with the first one here. So let's start with let's pick the second equation. We can pick the second equation here. So the second equation, what we have in the second equation is x plus y equals 3. So we're just gonna stay with the first equation here because we didn't with the first equation. So that's my mistake here. So let me just eliminate this. So we're gonna start because we didn't with the same equation here. We're gonna graph the equation number 1. So let's get this one. We get x. So negative x plus y equals 1. And we're gonna substitute y by 0. So we're gonna substitute y by 0 here in order to find x. So we're gonna have negative x equals 1. And let's try to find x. Let's get rid of negative 1. So we can divide by negative 1 in both sides here. And we're gonna get x. We're gonna get x equals negative 1. So the x-intercept when x equals negative 1, this is my second point here. When x equals negative 1, so y will be 0. So y will be 0. So let's try to find them here. So let's try to plug those numbers here in this graph here. So let's use the first one, 0 and 1. So this is going to be like my y-intercept, which is 0 and 1. It's going to be my first one. That's going to be 0 and 1. And the second equation, the second point, that will be -1 and 0. That will be -1 and 0 here. That will be -1 and 0, right? And I will connect both points. So let's connect both points here. Okay. So this is my first equation of line. This is the graph of the first equation. Let's make it on blue. Now we're gonna graph the second equation, which is x plus y equals 3. So let's graph the second equation. So let's find 2 points, like the same as the first method here. So we get x plus y equals 3. Again, let's try to start with the y-intercept. Let's start with the y-intercept. Again, the y-intercept means we get x equals 0. So we can just substitute x by 0. So we get like x, right? So we get a second. So we get x plus y equals 3, and I will substitute x by 0. So I'm gonna come up with plus y equals 3. So when x equals 0, y will be 3. This is my first point. And let's try to find the second point by using x-intercept here. And when we have x-intercept means y, we're gonna substitute y by 0. So let's get to the equation here. So we got x plus y equals 3, and again I will substitute y by 0, right? And in this case, it's gonna be x equals 3. So when y is 0, will be x equals 3. So my second point is gonna be like 3 and 0. So let's try to use those points here. So we got, let me pick another color here. Let me just pick like red here. So we got 0 and 3. That's going to be my y-intercept. That's going to be 0 and 3 right here. That's my first point. That's going to be the y-intercept of this equation. And my x-intercept will be 3 and 0, which is this one right here. And I will connect both points here. So I will connect both points here. Wait a second. Let me just get this one here. So I will connect both points here. All right. Now, as we can see here, this point right here, which is the intersection of both lines, that will be my solution. And you can see this point is, the ordered pair of this point is going to be 1 and 2. 1 and 2. And if you remember, based on the previous examples that we use, substitution method and elimination, we also found the solution is 1 and 2. So we just learned how we find the solution of this system of linear equations by graphing, by substitution, and by elimination. I'll see you to the next video for more examples.